Are you going through a tough time in your life? Do you need to refocus and maybe refuel? Are you having trouble getting through some real chaos in your life? I believe that one of the greatest tools at times like that is a journal. I'm a complete believer in the power of journaling. My name is Lila Lazarus. I'm a lifelong journaler and journalist. And while I worked for decades as a health reporter, talking about fitness and wellness and self care, I totally neglected journaling, even though I knew the power myself. Recently, I learned that when you're going through a divorce, family struggles, emotional family drama, and you're working with an attorney, that attorney may recommend journaling. One of those attorneys is a specialist in all areas of family law. He's practiced for 50 years, the former chair of the family law section of the State Bar of Michigan, author of several books, and a founder and podcaster on Gracefully Graying, a website and social media force for the over 40 crowd with aging parents, or maybe even for those aging parents. And he's also a good friend and a wonderful human being, Henry Gorbein. Thank you so much for being with us, Henry.
Thank you, Lila. It's a pleasure always working with you. First of all, let me tell you why I believe in journaling. I've
Great.
used it for many, many years in my practice for several reasons. First of all, it's a way to keep track of events that are going on as your life is going through chaos. I've learned over the years that I can't remember what happened yesterday, but if you write it down, especially in preparing a case, whether it's for trial, for mediation, or for negotiations, whether it's a custody case or whether it's a divorce, having a record, a journal of events can be very, very important because this way you have a complete record of what's going on. And I tell clients to write down if there's an important situation that happens, perhaps with a child, with a spouse, what happened, when, where. This way you have these events. In addition, I found over the years that if a journal is being kept, I'm called less because instead of being called every day with this happened, what do we do? I tell my clients, write it down. And that way we have it and we can discuss it at various points in the case. Also, for clients who are with therapists, it's important to write the same journal because, again, they're not calling the therapist as often. In addition, I found not only is it helpful in building a case and working with the client, but it's also cathartic for the client. It's a way to get things off your chest. I also tell people with regard to this journal or record, keep it in a safe place. Because if it falls in the wrong hands, it can be very, very devastating. But it's a way to really keep a record of what's going on contemporaneously so that if your case comes to trial or through mediation 5 months or 6 months down the road, you have everything there. And it's a wonderful way to help build a very strong case. And
It's
I've used
interesting that you say that about keeping it in a safe place because it's something we constantly hear when people who haven't been journalers but want to, and they say, but I'm afraid somebody will read it.
Well, sometimes the wrong person does read it. I mean, it could be your spouse, or I've had situations where a client was confiding in his or her best friend, and the best friend happened to be the one who the spouse had run off with it. So you never what's going on. So it's a matter of keeping it in a safe place. Write it down. Again, now you can do it through a journal online, but you've got to be careful where it is, and you've got to make sure that it's, again, secure.
Are you a journaler, Henry?
I do write things. I'm not a journal every day, but I do keep notes and things and records, and I think it's important. And believe it or not, my daughter got me into this, and she's into food coaching and health coaching, and she does journaling and has done this for years. So again, I think it's very important, and I know you're a journaler.
I am. I lifelong, and I absolutely love it. And I can tell you, it is very clear the days that I don't journal as the one, as opposed to the ones that I do, because when you live your life intentionally, you write it down in the morning. We say, change your morning, change your life. If you're focused from the very first moments you wake up, you have a better chance of staying focused throughout the day. In addition to people not calling you as much, perhaps not calling the therapist as much, tell us the difference you've seen in those clients you had who said, all right, I'm really going to make a concerted effort to journal.
They're more focused. Again, as you said, by journaling, you're focusing on specific events. Also, I tell clients, especially if you have children, have a place in a kitchen or another room where you have a daily calendar as to where things are happening, who, what, where, and when, so that it gets confusing, especially if there are two households, as to who's picking up the children on what day, what events there are, is there homework. So having a place where this is written out, where everyone can see it, is important as well, in addition to journaling.
Our brains are horrible filing cabinets,
That's
right?
that's true.
If someone's going through the chaos of divorce and they're listening to us now, in addition to journaling, can you give them some words of wisdom if they feel like they just can't get through this?
It's a process. You'll get through it. It'll pass. And again, often before you say anything or write anything, think, count to 10 perhaps, because sometimes it's best not to do your first reaction, but to try and do things in a mindful and a caring way. And also remember, even if you're getting a divorce, you and your spouse are parents for the rest of your lives, and bear that in mind. You want to do what's best for your children, not take things out through vindictiveness or anger. And I think that those are things to live by.
Thank you, Henry. You can, of course, find Henry at gracefullygraying.com and many of his incredible, incredible interviews. Thank you so much. And if somebody wants a journal, you can always find ours at mymorningmatters.com. Thanks.
Thank you, Lila.